Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Nobody now give you no break. Police now give you no break. That old soldier man I give you no break. Not even your eyes now give you no breaks. Well, hey, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do?
This is on Title 18, USC, Deprivation of Rights under Color of Law. That would be 242 and 243. It's a lot like U.S. Code 1984, Deprivation of Rights under Coloring of Law, when they changed the language. And this is the penalties for any police officer, any judge, anybody that's sworn an oath, when they violate your constitutional rights. This is the death law that constitutes the crime. So hear from someone else.
Video, so let's get started. What is the supreme law of the land, of the United States of America? You're looking at it. It's the Constitution.
Let me squeeze something in here. I use this in court. Marbury versus Madison. Remember, I've talked about James Madison, got his Juris Doctorate in 6 months in England. Well, Marbury versus Madison is the longest never overturned Supreme Court case in the history of SCOTUS. Never been overturned.
Now, let's set aside for a second that politicians feel it necessary to create new laws on top of existing laws to exert the power and validity of that existing law by this new law. And then they add another layer of another law to protect the law that was meant to protect the existing law. It's ridiculous and it's redundant. And the fact that politicians do this is a testimony to the fact that creating man-made laws is utterly worthless. It's complete nonsense. But let's just take for a second that the supreme law of the land is the Constitution of the United States. By this Constitution, every law enforcer and every political parasite swears an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And then invariably, they turn around and become the very domestic enemies that they swore to protect us from. Now, let's read the first part of the Constitution, which is called the Preamble. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and, check this out, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity.
Our children.
The fact that our posterity has been shackled with boatloads of transgenerational debt slavery at the hands of the bankers. All that aside. Okay, so the supreme law of the land is the Constitution of the United States. Now I want to direct your attention to a Supreme Court case called Marbury versus Madison from 1803. The takeaway from that entire case can be summed up in one sentence. All laws which are repugnant to the Constitution, that's this Constitution with this preamble, all laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. Thomas Jefferson said, every law consistent with the Constitution will have been made in pursuance of the powers granted by it. Every usurpation or law repugnant to it cannot have been made in pursuance of its powers. The latter will be nugatory and void. What's nugatory mean?
Nugatory.
Of no value or importance. If a law comes along and tries to rival the Constitution, it is declared null and void and of no importance. Now, I just want to direct you to one law before I end this video. Everybody should be familiar with 18 U.S. Code 242. That's the deprivation of rights under color of law. The deprivation of rights under color of law. And it states, and I'm quoting here, whoever, badged authority, politician, it doesn't matter, whoever under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom, willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by what? The Constitution or laws of the United States. Drop down here, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. And if such acts include kidnapping or an attempt to kidnap, we need to memorize this, guys. They shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for any term of years or for life. Or, and check this out, here's how heavy this language is in 18 U.S. Code 242. Or may be sentenced to death. If you violate your oath under color of law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom, or willfully subject any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities, you are subject to the death penalty according to 18 U.S. Code 242. I'm going to keep this video short, guys. Share this with everybody you know. Either the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and I am specifically just referring to the first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights. If anybody comes along and makes any law in violation of the Bill of Rights, that person is subject under 18 U.S. Code 242 to prison for life, or heavy fines and penalties, or death. Just think about that. 18 U.S. Code 242, validating the power of the Constitution as the supreme law of the land. If you guys enjoy these videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the
There you have it. Life imprisonment. If they arrest you falsely, look into private attorney generals under the Private Attorney Generals Act of 1866. That's why I make these legal notices as proof, because we intend on arresting these police officers, sheriffs, judges that violate these rights. It's got to stop somewhere, people.
Troops is filmed on location with the men of the Imperial Forces. All suspects are guilty, period. Otherwise, they wouldn't be suspect, would they?
That's you, police officers.